Alright, so we're going to take Remy out on a hunt here, but before we do, I always give him a command so he knows what it is to go find some birds. So it's, hunt him up! Now if you want to change directions with Remy, he's been taught to the shock collar. So what I do is I just give him a beep and see how he turns back towards me. Or he knows the whistle as well. And we've been saying, Remy, here! And those are the 3 commands you're going to want to use out in the field to get him to come back to you if he's too far out or you can't find him. All right, buddy, come. This is Remy coming in and working a bird. Come here. That was Remy pointing and showing you that there's a bird there. With him being as young as a puppy as he is and not being woe broke, he tends to bust in, but with age and maturity, that'll get better. Good boy! Here, come on, Remy. Here. Here, Remy. Here. Here, good boy. And for him not being force fetched, that's really good. He does have a natural retrieve. Out. He also likes to hold on to the birds. So what you're going to have to do if you get a bird and he's not wanting to give it up, you pull on this back flank and it's like an open the mouth button. A lot of times they'll open it up, they'll spit the bird out. So that was him working birds. Like I said, he's not super steady, but for being a young dog, he does a great job. You guys are going to have a great hunting season with him. Come on. This is the dog drip beeper collar. This is what we've been using with Remy, and this is what we use on all of our hunting dogs. It's a great collar because it has a beeper, and if you're hunting thick cover, you want that for your dog so you can find them. So I'm going to just show you some of the basic functions of it. If you guys do decide to get this collar, make it a little easier on you. So there's a red dot on the front of this collar here, and a red dot on the back of the control. To turn the collar on, you touch red dot to red dot, and you're going to hear that noise. And it's the same way to shut it off. Now to turn on your hand control, there's an on-off button here. You just click it until you can see the screen with the numbers on it. So here on top you have your knob, and what this does is it's control your collar level on how high it can go, on how intense the shock is. It goes all the way up to 127. Hopefully you don't have to use that level, but sometimes you run into instances that you do. So you find their level on the dog, and a lot of times that is a head twitch, an eye blink, and you always want to do that before you go out so you know what level your dog is at, so you're not over shocking and you're not under shocking. Now there's 2 types of shock on this collar. There's the nick and there's the continuous, and it explains it just how it is. A nick is just going to give them a little nick. A continuous is going to continue to shock until you release it. A lot of times all I've used on Remy is the nick to get him to come, to turn, to do basically whatever you want, whatever function you're wanting of him, you can use the nick. Now on the side here is a couple different buttons. This is the locate button and this is the mode button. The locate button is a beep. That's nice if you're out hunting, you can't find your dog, all of a sudden, okay, they're over there. This also is used on him to tell him to come. So I give him a little beep, often he turns. I'm not asking him to come all the way back, I just want him to acknowledge me and work with me and hunt with me. Now the mode button is if you're in thick cover, you can't find your dog, you're not going to be able to see him go on point. So you hit the mode. So what it's going to do is the dog is running, it's going to beep every 7 seconds. So this is just stimulating the dog running. Now if they stop, go on point, it's going to beep faster every 2 seconds. So that's how you know your dog's on point. There's another mode as well. This is a mode where it doesn't beep until they stop and go on point. So they stop, and it'll beep every 2. So this is if you don't really want to hear the beep constantly when you're going out hunting. And then what you do is you just hit this button again. You're going to hear 3 beeps. What that tells you is that the mode is off. So to shut it off, same concept, you're going to hear it wind down. So this is what we've been using on Remy. I recommend you get it. It's the Dogtra 2500. It's a single dog, and it works perfect, and he's responded great to it. I want to show you just some basic obedience tips of what we've taught him. The collar that he's wearing is what is called a prong collar. It's also known as power steering. You guys are going to want one of these for him when he's on walks, you know, anything you're just taking him out in the yard, you want to walk him, this is perfect for that. So it goes on his neck back here. It's kind of hard to see, but it clamps. Stop. It's kind of a goofball. And you just put it in. And what it is it looks harsher than what it is. You give him a little tap, and it just gives him a little pinch right there. Gives him a little self-correction. So what I've done with him is I've taught him sit, and that's just one pull on the collar. Now if I want him to heel, I'm going to start out with my left foot. I'm going to give him a little pull on this and move forward. Heel. In a heel, he's not to go out in front of you. He needs to stay in line with your knee. Heel. Heel. He's also been taught when I stop, it means sit. Stay. 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 Good boy. Positive praise is always a good thing. If he's doing a good job, let him know he's doing a good job. Sit. Sit. The other thing is when you're doing obedience with Remy and with any dog, even I think, what is it, your bulldog that you have at home. You tell them once. If they don't do it on the second time, you make them do it. Dogs are smart. If you don't hold them accountable, they're going to walk all over you. Heel. Sit. Sit. So if he's not wanting to sit, you just push his butt down. And like I said, the prong collar is a great power steering tool. You need to have it. It's a must. So, good boy, Remy. I'm going to show you how to put the shock collar on, because this is very important. If you don't have this on tight enough, it can arc. It can burn the dog's neck. Or if you have it too tight, you know, you're kind of, then they can't breathe. So you always want to make sure when you're putting it on, it's at the base of the head up here. That's where they're sensitive. So whenever I put it on, I always get the latch, the collar through the latch, and I put my 2 fingers underneath here, and I tighten it down to those 2 fingers. And then I always readjust and put it up at the base of their head. You don't want the collar moving and flipping, and you know, you want to have it solid on top of their head, so if you're going to make a correction, you're able to use it. Okay, so you guys talked that you want Remy to learn a duck hut for duck hunting. I'm going to show you the commands that we use to put him in the duck hut, to get him to stay in the duck hut. Now, you have to remember, Remy is not woe broke, and woe breaking is teaching the dog to stay whether they see a bird or not. So with him not being woe broke, you can't expect him to stay in this duck hut the whole time you're popping and shooting birds over him. He's a puppy, he's going to want to break, but what I've taught him is he sits in the kennel and he stays until he sees a bird fall. Okay. So the command is kennel. Kennel. Stay kennel. Fetch it up. Fetch it up. Fetch. And he did really good there. That was very, very good. Here. Come here. Good boy. Now remember what I was telling you about the flank? Out. Out is his command. It's his release command for the bird. So that's what you're going to want to use when you're going duck hunting. And he knows that stay kennel command pretty well, but you might have to reinforce it with him. You guys have a really good dog here, Kate, and he's going to find a lot of birds for you, and it's been a joy training him. And if you have any questions, you know you can call me, and thanks for choosing us as your trainers.